Welcome everyone to our masterclass series from 9 to 5 to Spiritual Entrepreneur. Discover the path to living your soul-sucking job, stepping into your soul's purpose, and getting financial freedom while doing meaningful work that lights you up. This event is for those who know they're meant for more, who are ready to leave unfulfilling work behind and create a purposeful spiritual business. I'm your host, Anne-Marie Vaillancourt, intuitive life coach. And today we've got with us Carol Hampshire, who is a brand strategist and web designer. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to get started.
Yes, I'm super excited, and we can start right away. I would like to ask you, can you tell us a bit more about you and how you got where you are now?
So it's been a long journey. I started my own business in 1996. I also had a 9-to-5 soul-sucking job for 4 years, and I could not handle one more day working in the corporate industry as a designer. And I had one client, and I jumped at the chance. And that was, a long time ago. And since then, my business has morphed into more specific niches every time I've morphed. And today I am designing brands and websites specifically for people that are in the spiritual world. Most of my clients are in that industry. And I absolutely love what I'm doing. So I am so happy that I made the plunge and did that all those years ago. I had a lot of courage, and I'm so happy that I did it.
Yeah, I love that. So you started a long time ago. So you've been doing that like before a lot of the people that are starting, like that have started doing the branding like in the digital age almost.
Yes, that was before. I'm now telling my age, but that was before computers. I didn't study computers when I was studying. There just weren't any computers at that stage. So yeah, I am self-taught in all the graphics, but the essence is the same. The
Mhm.
essence of branding is still the same, despite what tools we have. Um, and that's what I'm excited to obviously chat to you about. And we'll get into that conversation a little bit later on today.
Yeah. So what does it mean to build a brand with purpose in the spiritual space, and how is it different from conventional branding? Like, I guess that's what you were doing before.
I was designing, things like clothing stores or liquor stores. And even when I started my own business, I was still doing very much corporate kind of work because it's what I knew. And I loved growing my business, okay, from that perspective. But at the same time, I felt very, very unfulfilled. And that's when I niched into doing more personal brands, which is working for yourself in doing something that you love, something that you find purpose with. So first of all, it lit me up more, working on people's brands. And I've just felt that there was so much more integrity with the customer and the client. So they had a purpose, there was a bigger vision, and I loved getting involved with that, from hosting retreats or starting their own business so they can become financially free.
Mhm.
I just loved helping them grow into these small ideas, or I'm going to say big ideas, from a small start into something incredibly big. So that to me felt more meaningful, and there was more of a connection. And I think it's easier to sell something like that as well when there is that connection with your brand. And hence, I love a personal brand as well. That's what personal branding is about.
I love that. So you were attracted to helping people, like for you being authentic was helping people be authentic with their brand.
It was. And also another thing I didn't mention is that I studied, back in a long time ago, I'm going to say about 20 years ago, I did a year-long coaching diploma. Those were the days where it wasn't online. You went in person and we did modules and we got tested. It was a very, very involved training. And part of that was, obviously my spiritual awakening. So it was easy for me then to help others that had been along a similar path, an awakening of some sort, or people that had developed talents and superpowers, if I can call it that, were beyond the norm, right? They could have they could have talents that they are just not using, like they're talents that are special to them and only them. And I feel that I was able to support people on much deeper level because I also had gone through that training, that coach training, and I was connected to that kind of spirituality, how to manifest. I knew the language. I knew what that was behind that intention quite intimately as well. So I felt that there was a connection between myself and the client. And I think that really helped my business grow quite a lot to where it has as well.
I love that. So you were helping them uncover their full potential.
Exactly. Because I think sometimes, and especially in this field, people don't have, generally, they don't have other people supporting them and say, I believe in you, you can do this. And I think just having someone to hear them and say, I know you can do it, you've got a great idea. Let's flesh this idea out. Let's make it something brilliant. Let's put colors to it. Let's put a shape to it. Let's start birthing it into the world. And that changes everything. Once you've got this brand, it starts becoming real, right? And then there's a lot more flow as you grow into that brand and that business.
I love that. For someone just starting out their spiritual entrepreneur journey, what's the first step in building a brand that's aligned with their vision?
So first of all, get very clear in what your vision is. Try and have a 90-day plan. I wouldn't suggest look too far in the future because it might grow and change. So be open to it growing and changing. And when you have aligned to that vision, like what is your bigger vision? Do you want, like whatever it is, you have to really anchor that into your business. And then you figure out why. That was the why. Then how are you going to achieve that? You kind of reverse engineer what it is you need to do in order to get to that thing, right? And this is where you can then decide on your brand clarity. One of the first things I ask people to do is to get clear on the 5 words that really mean something to them about their brand. Just 5 words. It could be, healing or potential or transformation. Like really get clear on those 5 words. And that's going to help you determine your brand as well. The next thing I would ask them to do is to then not overcomplicate their branding. Do not have, I know this is counterproductive, don't go and spend a whole bunch of money on your website. Don't go and spend a whole bunch of money on your branding. You can do that on your own and DIY it as you grow in your business. And you can always then up level at a later stage. I do have a free brand clarity workbook that I know that you're going to link, and there are other resources online. So take a bit of time to do that research. Go online. As I said, there's free resources as well. Find out that brand clarity for you, and that sets you apart. I'm also going to advise you not to go and find your favorite mentor or coach and be inspired too much by their languaging, their brand colors, their messaging, their packages. Rather sit with that and really feel into what is your guides, your intention, and come from a place of growing this from the inside out, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I know this. Yeah, but those are kind of the basics I would advise someone to do in order to just believe in themselves. That's the most important thing. Believe in yourself. You will you will have the ability to grow your business from that belief as well.
Yeah, so kind of keeping in mind, I guess, that the brand is kind of alive, it's going to evolve. It's
That's
always
right. It's
changing.
going to evolve. I'm going to say the first 2 years, what you might start out doing, and it's probably going to be this way. I'm not saying it is, but I've seen this a lot in my business when people come to me. They've started in one direction, and then they have then realized what their deeper purpose is. So it's a journey. I think entrepreneurship is a journey, especially for spirit entrepreneurs, because they are being guided by spirit, and spirit is taking you from one step to the next step to the next step. It's very different to a corporate business where you are selling cars, or you are selling, you're at a nail salon. It's different. That's what you're doing. With a spiritual business, you are always, as your skills evolve, as you learn more as well, as you add more tools to your toolkits, your business is going to explode in many ways. So I think that's why my advice is keep the branding simple, clean, focus on those 5 core words that you want to, and you go from there. Keep it simple as you move forward.
Yeah, and I guess the difference between the corporate and a spiritual business is, I guess, with the spiritual business, you're gonna focus more on really on a personal brand, right?
That's 100%. What you are doing here, the most important thing is to connect to your potential clients through the know, like, and trust factor. You must have heard of that. Know, like, and trust. But no one's going to buy your product if they don't know you, they like you, and they trust you. So that's where branding comes in. That's where integrity comes in. So you need to show up as who you are naturally, and people will align to that. The right people will align to that. That includes having really solid boundaries. I know that when we're starting a business as well, I'm just going to kind of put this in here subtly, and I'm talking from experience, our boundaries are a little bit more flexible. So I would also say try and have some really beautiful boundaries in place in terms of how much space you're allowing in your life, so that you don't burn out. Your prices, don't charge them too low. Believe in yourself, and things like that, right? So I think the most important thing is to have a brand that you love and you're building, because it's a lifelong affair with this brand. It's going to be here forever. It's going to be the thing that's going to support you and your family as your family grows. And it's a really beautiful thing as well.
And would that be the same thing, like if you use your name as a brand, or if you create a name for your brand, like a business name?
Okay, this is a really interesting subject. So I would always advise people to use their personal name for a personal brand. Not all the time do people do that. And there's reasons why they are going to do that. But my suggestion is, if you're building a brand, use your name, because this is how people connect to you, so that know that you are buying that person. When you're hiring someone to support you one-on-one with past life regression or yoga online, you're buying the energy of that person, not the company's vision, energy. So I would suggest being upfront. This is who I am. It doesn't mean that you can't have a team that you're building behind the scenes, but you are the face of the business, right? You are the Oprah. You are in front of your audience, and you are the one that people are going to love and connect with and want to work with. And that's the secret about branding. That's the secret that right there is connecting. As you leave a 9 to 5, more than likely the people that you're going to be working with for the first couple of months are going to be people that you might know in real life. And because they trust you and they're like, wow, I love what you're doing, I'm going to go and support you. that gets to a certain time in your business where you have to then brand yourself to people that don't know you. And that's where building a personal brand is important. It's so important because you're going to have a brand speaks for you when you are not going to be there in the room. So you have to make sure that your brand is in alignment with you, speaks for you, and has the right energy. And that's why personal branding should have your name so that it all is in alignment as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I guess also if you evolve and you want to offer new products, it's easier to pivot into, like, if it's a little bit different, it's easier to pivot if it's your own name, than if you have a business name that says Facebook groups specifically.
Yes.
Or
Totally. So I would say have a really beautiful name. Like I've worked with a lot of people that have used the Phoenix as a name, as a word for transformation, right? They aligned to the Phoenix word. So they could use that word that means something to them in their products. The Phoenix Mastermind, right? Or the Phoenix course. And that means that if your website is up and running and you decide to throw the Phoenix away and you're now a mom and you now want to go into supporting moms in their spiritual adventures and journeys, then you can pivot, right? Without you having to reinvent the whole website and brand. All you do, you kind of retire the Phoenix and now call it, something new and something different. And know that will happen. Every couple of years, you are going to be hit by this incredible inspiration. I know this, that's going to kind of come into you, and you're going to say, okay, great, it's time for that next evolution in my brand. So having a website that's got your name in it, you can update things slowly without reinventing the whole wheel and spending a whole bunch of money on things you shouldn't really be spending on, especially when you're growing your business. Don't spend a whole bunch of money on getting fancy logos with fancy names and stuff. Keep it simple. Keep it super simple.
And one of the first thing everybody should do is go buy their own domain name, like with their own name.
Yes, go and do it. If you haven't done that already, even if you are thinking about leaving your 9 to 5 in a year or 2 years, buy that domain now. It's going to set the intention, and you can start working on your website in the meantime. If you have time, there's no rush, there's no hurry, and there are ways that you can start doing that.
Yeah. So what are some common mistakes that spiritual entrepreneurs make when trying to build a brand, and how can they avoid them?
So I think we might have touched on one or two. One is don't overcomplicate things. Don't make things so complicated and have a product suite that's so busy and wild. Just offer 2 or 3 things, the maximum. Get really clear on what you're really good at and offer that as a one-on-one service. Before you go into a one-to-many service, really make sure that you are fine-tuning your skills with that one-on-one. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes, is overcomplicating things. Another thing that mistakes that people generally make is you don't necessarily need a whole website. I think we mentioned that as well. Don't go out and spend all of the money that you've saved up on your business on doing that. Rather spend that money on social media. Learn how to work Canva. Learn how to write great copy and messaging using ChatGPT, because that's going to be your best friend for a long time. If you learn how to prompt that tool, you are going to be way ahead of the line. And the thing is then the final mistake is not getting in front of the camera. You have to be visible. So I think
Yeah.
people are a little shy as they're leaving a corporate world and then becoming this spiritual entrepreneur, and there's a lot of shame potentially, or fear, or lack of confidence. And I think focus all your energies on dissolving those fears. If you're worried that people are going to be watching you online, then unfriend them online.
Yeah.
Your ex-boss or your ex-colleagues, just unfriend them, right? Have the space that you can then grow and really fully engage in, because that is the place right now where you're going to find your clients. So the biggest mistake is not being visible. And I think if anything, that's the number one thing you need to do, is to get your mindset shifting for being visible and sharing this beautiful service online with people.
I think that's a big struggle, what you said, like being visible while you're still in a 9 to 5 job. Sometimes you don't want your boss or colleagues to know.
Yes.
And I know there's a way you can create a new profile, but then you lose all of your following that you already have. But there's a way also to just put people in a category that you can exclude on your post. It's a lot of work, but
yes, you can. So on Facebook, if people don't know about that, you can go and say, post this to my feed and exclude this group of people.
Yeah.
There is ways to do that, or else create a Facebook group and then invite people that are aligned and want to go into that group. And another thing is just block those people. Obviously, if you're still in the 9 to 5, there's no reason they should be following you personally, because that is a corporate business that you're in, and there should be a clear line between corporate and personal life. So you have certain things that are going to keep you safe. I think the bottom line here is I want people to feel safe when they go onto social media. And if you're not feeling safe, write down why and try and figure out how you can fix that, right? And change that, because if you are able to get over those things very soon in your business, I'm telling you, I'm promising you right now, it will grow so much quicker. It really is. One thing that's stopping people from growing a lot is not having that confidence to go online.
Yeah, I love that. That's a big, I think that's a big block for a lot of people. And even when I started to, I wanted to find ways to do only written posts, or like not having to do all of the reels. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to do reels every day. I know that's a strategy sometimes, but I do like to see, like, I feel like on video you see the energy signature of the person better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you are in a 9 to 5 right now, try and do more stories. Even if it's, I'm walking the dog and wow, what a beautiful day we're having today, or this is what my child is doing, or I'm excited because I'm learning a new tool, or I'm learning a new skill. So try and get online in other ways as you build in that confidence. You don't have to sell anything. It's just an exercise to being consistent and showing up online before you start selling your products and services. So I think that's a really, really good thing you can start doing as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I guess your profile is then a good way to, like with the picture, to start really creating your brand that way, the visual brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're wanting to do here, I'd say at least 3 months before you plan to launch your business, is to build a buying audience. Start priming people for what you really are about and what's important to you. So I would talk about branding because I just love branding. But if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you are an energy worker, for example, start talking about your energy work. You don't have to necessarily sell me anything, but maybe give me tips and tools. How can I increase my energy level? What can I do in nature to do that? Give me 3 tips to do this. If I'm feeling low, create a meditation. So at least 3 months before, start building that buying audience. So by the time you're launching something, people know what you're good at. You've created that personal brand and you have an audience already and waiting for you. So that's a really, really good tip as well.
Yeah, so you get kick-started a bit before.
You're starting your business, but you're not necessarily selling anything yet.
Yeah.
And it's not that much of a big investment in time. It's just a mindset shift. So that you're going to have to show up consistently and actually have fun about it. It doesn't have to be a chore. After your 9 to 5, your 9 to 5 is soul sucking, right? You're wanting to create a space that's fun, that's going to be exciting, and it's a new skill you're learning. Think of it that way. And you're going to mess up a little bit, and that's okay. You're going to learn how to do hashtags. You're going to learn how to see your audience. And that's where you've got a chance to just play around a bit. So keep it light, keep it fun. And I'm telling you, seeing my clients just grow because they are consistently online and actually having fun doing that as well.
That's a really good point. Have fun with it.
Have fun with it.
So if you were to leave listeners today with one single action, or maybe you have 2 or 3, but at least one action, what would it be that they can just implement right now?
So I have one, and it's the one thing that I didn't do. And I'm going to ask everyone to do that now, if they are really serious about growing their business. And that is, get very clear in what problems people are solving. Like, what problem are you solving? Because it's all very well having a brand, being on social media, being really confident and consistent, but you've got to be able to talk to your clients in such a way that they get the value of what you are selling. You can be the best at what you are doing in the world, but if you don't share the value, you don't have a customer. So my suggestion is start having a great relationship with ChatGPT as well, or any other one of those AI tools. Really get to know it and ask that to support you and help you and figure out, this is what my skills are. This is my ideal client. Tell me about the problems that they are having and what could I potentially use in my wording and my messaging to show them the value of what I'm doing. So let me give you an example. If I'm starting my website design business, and I know that it's not, let me say my spiritual web design business, or it's got some aiming my business only at spiritual entrepreneurs. If I tell you, you need a website, you need a brand, you'd be like, okay, well, I do kind of, but you probably won't buy that because you don't see the value. But if I talk to you about a brand, will get you more clients because it'll give you the connection. Have a website because people will take you seriously and you can stand up as a leader online. If I speak into the languaging that you're thinking about at night, then I have a customer. So get very clear on what problems you're solving, because your clients are sitting up at night and they are worried. If you're a spiritual entrepreneur that does healing, what are your clients worried about in terms of their health? Low energy, they won't have the energy to be there for their families or their loved ones. So you need to create the messaging around your product or service that really hits home into what they are really wanting. Like, what do your clients really want? My clients don't want a website. They don't want a brand, but they do want to heal the world. They want to transform people, right? Social media is just a tool to do that. A website's just a tool to do that. Even meditation or some healing modalities are just tools to get to the other side. So be very clear in what the other side is to your clients, and you sell them that.
Yeah.
Sell them that. And if you do that from the get-go in your business, you will have a very strong business, because there are many roads that lead to a person transforming or healing or growing or earning more money, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, there are many ways to get there. And we want to make sure that they take your road because you are the leader. And set yourself as a leader by creating a really strong brand and very strong messaging so it really hits the core needs of your audience. And you'll always have clients.
That's such an important point. It has to be clear. You have to be clear about that. Mm-hmm.
You have to care about that. And it's the one thing that I just didn't know. And obviously I work on that now very, very hard. And because of that, I know that my business has just grown. And I think that if you just follow these tools, you'll feel a lot more confident leaving, your corporate job when you are ready to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be easier for you to share your message as well and talk with the audience.
Exactly. Because you're going to have to be able to know what it is that they really are worried about. Like, what are their biggest problems that they are facing? And then create a solution for that problem, right? Create the solution. Be the one that's going to give that solution to them and give them value in their lives.
Yeah, awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, just before we wrap up, you have a free gift for our viewers. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
So yes, it's a free brand clarity workbook, and it's completely free. You can obviously go through it and work through your branding and your messaging and how you are going to create your brand. So it's a great start into building your brand from the inside out, having a brand that is the essence of who you are and something that you can be proud of as well. So I love it. I use it myself all the time. And I obviously give this to my clients to use as well. So it's a really, really good, solid tool to have.
Sounds like the perfect tool to start with.
Totally. It's brilliant. It really, really is.
Yeah.
And, there are tools like that as well. There are videos on YouTube. So really get into what is to get that brand clarity from maybe my workbook, video tutorials. Go and find that online as well. There's so many resources that are out there for you.
Yeah. So the brand clarity workbook gift will be in a link down below to download. So thank you so much, Carol. It was so great to meet you and to know you. And thank you, audience, for joining us in this powerful conversation. There's so much more inspiration, insight, and practical guidance coming up. So be sure to keep watching to continue unlocking your own spiritual journey.
Thank you so much. Bye.